Everything is so perfectly sequenced right now. This came on right as I put the live on. I had to send a WeTransfer, and then this came on right now. So I was like, why don't I go live with this? Why not? How well can you hear the mic? Can you hear my voice over the beeps? I want to make sure. But yeah, I wanted to show you how live it is right now. And ask yourself how much of a coincidence this is. Because it just ended right now. Oh, shout out to your monthly Air Tribe report. Welcome Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Oh shit. Welcome Gemini. Welcome Libra. Welcome Aquarius to your Air Tribe report. Shit is real. For real. Yup. So I had to get this level of trollery on camera because at some point you try and just tell you just look stupid. But yes, I hope you're enjoying this Gemini season because it's about to take off right now. Moon and Sagittarius blasters. We're gonna follow this up with the full moon. So I'm gonna hop right into that live, and we're gonna break that down because this is magic AF. I mean, I know we've all had crazy synchronicities over just the past 5 hours, talk less the last couple of days. So we'll break down this hyper accelerated rate of synchronization that is occurring over the next 2 weeks. And the best thing I can say is magic. Ooh, I think we're all gonna enjoy this. Yeah, so I'm gonna break down the Gemini season transit. Shout out to the air signs. Shout out Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The word, bridge, voice, and mind of God. Okay, the air channel. Everyone has air signs. Air, you breathe air. This is the intellectual part of you, whereas the earth sign is your body. So this is the mental aspect of yourself. And be mindful of where these signs fall into your natal chart because air signs are going through a bit of a change or evolution. Shout out to Team Gemini. Gemini is sponsoring evolution throughout the next 12 months. And then post 2026 through the rest of the decade, it's going to sponsor Uranus. We're about to innovate our ability to do everything with our minds and not have to like touch screens and shit. Who does that? That's so 2000s. Anyway, then coming into the end of the decade, Kronos is going to go through Gemini. So there's huge construction, infrastructure being built around these new innovations are happening throughout the rest of this decade. Personally, for you to now innovate how you do everything individually, and then we'll integrate it socially through the next decade. Y'all, Libra is unlocking power coming into the beginning of next year, and the beginning of next year. This is huge. 9-year harvest. It's starting to harvest 9 years since 9 years ago, and regardless of your zodiac sign, this unlocking of power is resituating how you balance your individuality and what direction you take it. But yeah, Libra, you're unlocking superpowers. That Libra, Aries is the raw power. Libra is the superpower. Cap is the god power. And Cancer is the special psychic power specialist. But Libra is a superpower. They have a superpower to charm anybody. Imagine if Will Smith was in front of you right now and just basically made you focus on certain things because he's captivated you with his communication ability. It is a superpower. They are blessed by the goddess Aphrodite. They're nice. They're very nice. If you don't believe me, watch the movie Focus. If you want to see how that might be applied. All right. But other than that, Aquarius is rebirthing. This is, I think, is the most terrifying thing happening at current. The last time something terrifying like this happened was in the 1700s, and people were just getting beheaded in the French Revolution. Like it got fucking crazy, and we're back. But other than that, yeah, at 2044, um, that process will end, and then the Pisces will begin the rebirth 2044 to 2068. And that genuinely will be the most terrifying thing ever. Like Pisces, when the Pisces start to awaken, this is like after the mass extinction events and the war over the ethnic cleansing. That shit is a crazy aftermath. I can't imagine being like in my 50s and 60s during that period, but it is what it is. So yeah, this is it. This is the end of the world, my friend, as we know it. Like it's this start of this Gemini season is helping it settle in that it's done. It's done. The way we used to think about things, do things, it's either innovating quintus generationally, or so much is getting exposed, it's changing everything you think and believe about it. Of course, there's a gradual process, and good riddance. And so the air signs are updating our vocabulary and our communication of these themes, specifically Aquarius, which now at a humanitarian level completely awakens humanity again, towards the shenaniganery. I mean, the last two times this happened, you had a bunch of Protestants that were breaking away from the Catholic faith. And now you're seeing large numbers of people convert back to Catholicism. You should only be afraid. Okay, large numbers is an exaggeration. I don't even really know the exact amount, but just source, trust me, bro. So should we be afraid? You should only be afraid if you have anything to hide. All right. It's the truth pisses off everybody. The truth doesn't say what any person wants them to say, unless, yeah, no. So you should only be afraid if you have stuff to hide, because hackers are going to take over the world for a brief moment before governments stabilize things. And everyone's going to get a brief glimpse that no information, all the information being sold on the internet, all the pictures that you've ever taken that you thought were deleted but are still there with an update. Like, what if all of that shit gets leaked? What if like everyone's, not just corporations, but then now personal people's files, people who have stuff to hide, um they should be very afraid. Like a lot of Pluto and Aquarius is making obsolete old measures of protection, of security. Our concept of security is getting ready to just be blown off the lid in light of innovations and just people giving less of a fuck than ever. And also the ability to regulate and catch up to maybe dark web or underworld activity that can, really bring things to an edge. Also, a heightening of terrorist activity and possibly school shootings and war. So, I mean, like, I feel like those of you who are very much so aligned with your true path and what you're meant to be doing, you're not going to be afraid. You're going to probably be thriving. That was certain people during the during the pan, during the pandemic, and it was crazy as an epidemic. And yeah, and yeah, certain people were thriving while other people were like dying. You know, rest in peace. Certain people were losing jobs. Certain people, um, you know, kind of took a downturn. And I think this might be somewhat similar, just a lot more intense. And it will really just kind of harp more the importance of staying focused on what it is you're meant to do. Everything that is quite literally being revealed now as we speak. And now that it's in Gemini season, it's putting you in a position to come into a true awareness of what is happening and what we can do with it. Okay. 3 months from now, what we are experiencing will segue into how we integrate it. And then 6 months from now, that will turn into what it all means. We'll see what it all means. And we're getting a sneak peek of that with the full moon right now. Okay. So let's get it. Let's get this shit. Gemini, come to the front. Happy motherfucking birthday. Shout out to the messengers. Gemini, it's going to feel like you're back for the first time. Like you're being reintroduced to what you represent. And it's going to feel like shit because um, there are an entire collective of beliefs that may directly contrast and clash with your thoughts and expressions, and to the capacity with which they cannot accept the truth of what you say. They believe, in all honesty, that you deserve hell for it. Because God forbid they look into the mirror and accept that maybe they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That is preposterous. The audacity of you, Gemini, to think that people would ever even listen, let alone respect the truth. And I think you're going to learn that very much so this season. Of course, given the mutability of this, if you're telling lies to your vision, if there are truths about yourself you have not accepted, it's going to be through this collective influence that's going to make it feel like you're going through hell until you accept these truths. However, Saturn hasn't been in Gemini since 2000 and 2001. Okay, when all the Pluto Sag new gen children were being born, and we didn't know that they were going to completely fuck up this entire world and burn everything as cinders and then create a new world. We didn't know that at the time. And a lot of people still don't know that, but some people are starting to realize, holy shit, the younger generation doesn't give a fuck. What are we going to do? Yeah. So, this compared to then is the final completion of that karmic phase. This is very huge. Every zodiac sign perspective is coming into a final perspective through this Saturn cycle. And for you, Gemini, that 270-degree angle with the sun, moon, if you have the rising, it's in your 10th house. This is your final test. I'm going to use Kendrick Lamar as an example. If you think 2009, he had this bitch bumping, that was when Saturn was in Virgo. And now we're seeing Saturn in the opposite sign, where Geminis had to build a social foundation off of what is real, right? Which required discipline, you know what I mean? Where it's not fixed. This was a mutable variety and range for you to be fake, for you to be real. But what comes around goes around. And so since 2009, where Saturn had just left Virgo and entered Libra, now at 2024, we're at the final Saturnian test. There's 2008 and then there's 2015 when Saturn was in Sagittarius opposite us. That was when I was going through certain conflicts with people who tried to, take my name and drag it on the internet. And then I had to show real quick that, it don't work like that. Okay. I was tested. And a lot of why I was able to see through these adversities, integrity alone. If I was short on integrity, I would have been fucked. Okay. So these are standardization tests. And the Saturn in Pisces is the harvest, the completion of that harvest. We were harvesting this karma 2015 to 2024. And that was that final test represented through Kendrick Lamar, who now at this stage of his career versus where it was opposite, he's having to put everything that he's learned in order to go through this final test and challenge at the height of his career. I want you to see how all this is tied to that 10th house of success. And for those of you with Gemini energy, like you wanna really be excited, because this is you coming into the final experience of everything you have harvested, which is going to change the new precedent set through this, which must be maintained with this sense of integrity. And it's how this Gemini season, which now is your first house, is going to do what has to be done in order to now align what you think about yourself with this establishment of integrity when it concerns your legacy. All right. That's why, Pisces moon, Gemini sun, Kanye West has created the label getting out our dreams. That's kind of how I like to see that. Like his soul is out there understanding his legacy. It's a story of continuously being that legend, surpassing the odds, which Pisces of dreams is through Gemini getting it out there, right? And always kind of, that archetype really helps you understand um that relationship between Gemini and Pisces, where the world will constantly twist the narrative around your words, but you just have to continue to remain true. And people be forgetting Gemini, we could be as crazy as we fucking want to. And so it's part of the anti-conformity, where now conformity is going to be social to collective, and conformity is not bad. It's just, knowing how to navigate that, knowing what to not conform to, knowing what to conform to. But I don't, you see, this is a return since 2012, 2011, 2012. The king of the gods has returned back into Gemini. All right. We want to give props to Aries and Taurus. Gemini, you have been past the rock. All right. The end of this Taurus run is magnifique. Venus and Jupiter, 29 degrees Taurus, as it rolls into Gemini. And especially those of you with Gemini suns and Gemini moons at the beginning of Gemini, like if you were born from May 20th to the end of May, all right, or if you have your moon degree like 0 to 10 degrees Gemini, or your rising 0 to 10 degrees, you guys are getting directly activated, and the gods themselves are working through you as a conduit, vessel, and instrument to really carry on the plot. If you think of life as a manga or anime, you can literally through the planets see how the plot is developing. Leo is the lead role, so the sun is the camera with which the scenes follow through. And of course, with Jupiter and Venus, that will kind of go through that first part. You guys are heralding this expansion of ideas and being willing to, through who you think you are and what you think you are, express that in integrity. And it's not meant to be easy. Oh, but it's going to be totally, if not eternally, rewarding. And it's also going to make you probably target number one, like when you have the crown and now everyone wants the top spot. So here's the deal. For those of you with Gemini energy, I want you to comment a 3 if this statement is true to you. Over the last 12 to 27 years, but specifically since 2012, especially, the collective and the social environment around you in some spaces has wanted you to change your ideas. This is something that's not uncommon to people, right? But you may have felt that your general expression, you may have been gaslighted or influenced to really like change an attitude or mindset. You might have been maybe ostracized or alienated for speaking an idea that's not meant to be spoken. And it's almost as if, through media, through all sorts of social discourse, you're being influenced to not really even feel like what you're saying is the truth or whatnot. Obviously, you'll see that this applies to way more than just Gemini because you're not a zodiac sign. But I want to show you how this expresses itself through that. Okay. So, whereas you may have seen people fold, whereas you may have seen people apologize, right? And kind of really just double back. And even though they don't really feel that, right? For those of you who've commented number 3, right? This is why this is going to be pretty intense. With Pluto and Aquarius, that's now awakening a lot more sensitivity and intensity just to share these ideas. Those of you who commented a 3, you're going to turn at the height of all this pressure and you're going to flip the bird and be like, I'm sorry that you idiots think that I would ever apologize for speaking my personal perspective. I know diabolical, vile. For some reason, you refuse to change your mind and to switch up and be influenced and conform to the ways of what at the current time you're supposed to. What, not even because you're right or wrong, but because that's what you feel needs to be expressed. And I have to let you know the audacity of you, and you need to be careful, because this is the final stand for you to back down. Because if you carry on this mindset moving forward, it will be cemented into your legacy forever. And do you really want to be known as some theorist who's just out there spitting nonsense and being this phobic and anti this and this phobic? Why can't you just be like everyone and stop trying to be different and think that you know everything? Okay, that's basically like your final boss battle. Sagittarius and Virgo have different perspectives, and if you want to be a super gremlin, do what you want to do. But as the Sun and Jupiter trine Pluto in your ninth, this is an awakening the celestial and advanced knowledge outside of common scientific principles, which is very important to establish. Aquarius, according to postmodern materialist reductionist science, is science fiction. Anything outside of the material is just some like alien concept that you have to put in science fiction. And then Pisces is seen as fantasy. All right. Well, there's a whole fantasy genre. All right. There are certain things that people might have equated as gnomes and elves and stuff that correlate to real life things. That's the Virgo Pisces opposition that could be actually, for everything can be explained by science. However, given materialist reductionist philosophy, the actuality of metaphysical beings that can incorporate and actually take participation in our experience, like a higher dimensional being can fuck with a three-dimensional being, just like a three-dimensional being, like that is seen as fantasy in some senses. A lot of that can't be measured scientifically. And now Pluto in Aquarius is awakening philosophically in your ninth house that higher celestial science. The science of what, Gemini? The higher knowledge that you are an angelic being. And this might be through connecting with Aquarius sun, moons, and risings, because they are representing the greater era and next era of celestials and the new generation of gods who are awakening through humanity. This is going to shine a light through that trine in order with Jupiter to expand the cumulative experience of your angelic nature, and how a lot of these experiences weren't just synchronicities. The Aldebaran portal, 9 degrees Gemini, connects you directly with Archangel Michael. Okay. And why that's really, really, really key is because now that Pluto is in Aquarius, there's not a lot of vocabulary in order to speak to the fact that many of you are celestial. You're not American. You're not Czechoslovakian. You're not black. You're not Chinese. Do you know what I'm saying? You have a culture, right? Many of you are realizing you are celestial. You are a soul. Some of you are Gemini moons. You're angels at your core. You're an angel soul, right? When you die, you're not going to necessarily be acknowledged as some ethnicity or tax bracket or status. It's your soul. And this is getting ready to awaken a whole broad depth over the next 20 years of knowledge with which now you are leveling up the nature that you can freely connect as an angel with angels, express truth. You feel me? Be in a position to in alignment with integrity, because just because this is the devil was an angel, you feel me? So it's not just that angels are automatically good. Angels are messengers, right? Whether you're delivering a lie or the truth is that mutable aspect, right? And this is what is this is very serious here, because this year is going to really introduce this. Now that Jupiter is going to expand the vocabulary, and with this power of evolution, especially if you're born after 95, like those of you born after 95 with Uranus and Neptune in Gemini, out of all the generations, you guys represent the most advanced claircognizant angels that exist. And then the well, I don't even know what to call it. All they all born after 2012. Like, go watch Barney. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But like, you got Neptune and Pisces and stuff. Like, no, that's different. Anyway, yeah, that's like the next era. But yeah, it's very cool because you don't have to read this in a book. Pluto and Aquarius is awakening this because the ninth house is a house of God. You have Aquarius there, the celestials, right? And if you think about it, Libra has Gemini in their ninth house as a representative of justice. Their philosophy is built around truth because you need to see truth in order to maintain balance. So then let's take Gemini. Gemini's ninth house of philosophy is Aquarius. If you think the nature of truth draws from knowledge in order to express it. So the higher quality, as fixed signs are qualities, the higher quality of knowledge you wrap your philosophy on, the higher quality of truth you express. And so the quality of the ninth house will influence. That's the Aquarius Libra connection. Aquarius freely expresses the truth as a fixed state of knowledge in the mind through the words, right? So it's super fucking badass because this is also going to expand your awareness of, with the Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, metaphysical existence and also phenomena that will now adjust what it is you think about who you are and what you're communicating. This is going to begin to integrate over the next 3 months, and Sagittarius season is where, through fully integrating it, you'll be able to show people what this looks like. So the full moon is helping you understand the meaning of what you are and represent. And this is going to activate with the new moon in a brand new way to express yourself. And through that square, it's just going to challenge you to stay in integrity through how you establish your legacy and what dream you are wanting to accomplish and are accomplishing. Now, with all the 12th house Taurus, with that radical isolation, it's preparing you to step forward post 2026. And as the planets spill into Gemini, especially with Venus, now this is going to attract a lot of beauty towards you. And like, it's not a coincidence. I didn't plan that to get my hair cut while Venus is on my AC of appearance. It's not like I was like, I'm going to wait till then to do that. I just kind of realized that, it's just kind of synced like that. So Gemini, congratulations. This is going to begin the first draft of the first chapter for you. The last time you opened up a new book to start this chapter, right, was 2011, 2012. And you're doing it again. Okay. Taurus, this is your second chapter. Cancer, this is your last chapter. Gemini, this is you getting ready to just really take the pen to the pad and write up the new version of the story. And that's what brings us to Libra. Libra, you're going to somehow, all through this season, find yourself embroiled in conflict after conflict. And it's going to take people 6 months to maybe 10 years to realize that the wars that are about to spark all started because of you. And I don't mean that you're master manipulating things. I mean, maybe you are, but in some cases, like, you have such a powerful social awareness to see trends in how people kind of think and communicate and react to certain phenomena, that it's almost as if before other people realize, you're talking to the right people, sharing and bridging information, and positioning people in a way that will create inevitable conflict. True balance. This is retarded, what I'm saying, by the way. And I want to say it again. I really do feel like you're going to trigger wars and conflicts between people almost as if you are meant to be there. A lot of this is the consequence of you representing this principle of balance, justice, and fairness. So there's a way that you take action that indirectly and directly exposes the fuck out of people. And it's not always cool, especially if they're inauthentic. There's a way with which, like, somebody could be making fun of of somebody and they kind of like look at you wanting to make fun of them too, and you're just like, no, I don't do that, that's wrong. And now that person kind of feels fake because they're probably being fake, or you know what I'm saying, like it's just kind of stuff like that. That now if you're on like the evil genius Libra wavelength, you know that shit's going down, and you actually like to troll the fuck out of people and serve them like underhanded compliments that they don't even know was a diss because it's way over their head, as you just kind of reveal how full of shit they are. Because you know, this balances people's character, and that's why Libra representing the law falls down harder if they're not in integrity. Libra is such an important zodiac sign and representation in the age development cycle. Libra is when the average person turns like 35 to 44, where we're starting to develop, you know, more mature relationships, and people are more serious about getting married. And you know, it puts you in a position to get more in trouble if you're abusing the law. Libra, I'm just going to keep it a buck. Nobody knows you unlocked your superpowers. I don't know if it's because you're just like the ultimate finesser, or because like in 3 sentences you can just charm people with your words. I'm not trying to snitch or anything, but like it's gotten to a point where you're just showing people your third house Sagittarius magic, and they don't really see beyond certain layers. It's like, wow, there's certain things you can do in front of people's face, knowing that they don't see it outside of just it physically happening. And it opens up so much possibility for you, because it's just like, you don't have to hide. You're not someone to hide it. But the way I'm trying to say it, right, is if people did see what you were saying, there's a certain reaction that would be triggered from them. And you can tell by the actions they're taking, they don't truly get what you're doing. And the reason why this is amazing is because, for example, this is what some Libras are doing. They represent an aspect of the force, right? So a Libra can literally do a force alter right now. They can literally walk unannounced, skip the line, and literally enter the club and just be like, I'm on the list. And the person is just looking at him like, what the fuck? Dude, just come in. Whole time they're not on the list. Like they don't, like the person doesn't even realize that their mind just got altered by men, and like they in that moment felt like they were on the list. Like they got them under in trance within 5 seconds. Like normally it's not uncommon to get someone in trance maybe within like 5 to 10 minutes. If a motherfucker within less than 30 seconds can put you under trance, that's a dangerous motherfucker. That's like every Libra right now. And that was actually them before. But now they're, you know, y'all are learning how to match that. Okay. So, you know, this is opening up the authority of how you integrate that into your lifestyle. And let's talk about that, because Pisces season was when you activated for the first time in 30 years. And as some of you have come of age and matured certain respective cycles, the ability to warp reality through your behavior. Okay, is it limited to your behavior? Nope. But the way that you imagine how you want to live your life, and the supernatural awakening quality with which you're able to quite literally through your imagination uh live the life of your dreams. Okay, sixth house lifestyle, Pisces dreams. This is literally imagineering the dream life. Okay, now Virgo season in September of this year is going to be the first of two checkpoints, or rather harvests, where the whole point of Virgo season is now coming into analytic, analytical, detailed understanding and awareness of, wow, I was imagining this and then this happened. I was imagining this and then this happened. The whole nature of your entire style and what you imagine it should be like is, with the power of your mind, literally making obsolete old ways with which you used to live your life. And it's down to such a precise element that through this higher rate of synchronization, by September, moving into November or December, you are now harvesting a perfect nature and quality of your ability to imagine, I want to live my day like this. And then by the middle or end of the day, you're writing in your journal, yep, it took this much seconds to do this. This took a while to happen. Like, it's so tangible. This is a 6-month process, right? So the checkpoint in between that is Gemini. And this is the season that's going to now, as you have began to integrate and now through Aries harvest this awareness, it is breaking through into the truth of what's happening. So that means since March, you have been activating this integration. And now from May to September, you are going to be directly experiencing over the next 30 days exactly what's happening. So the square between your ninth house and your sixth house of behavior and your ninth house of philosophy is your true philosophical approach being adjusted, because you are quite literally expanding with Jupiter the awareness with which, holy shit, I just said I wish they would give me that coffee free. And then the barista said, hey, do you need this coffee? Because, like, we don't really need, oh, yes, I'll take it. And this is what's going to happen over the next 30 days as it expands your philosophy about what can truly happen. And it's going to perfect over the next 3 months your precision of causality. All right. Of course, the square between the two is almost like next to the 10th house of career, working in residency. Saturn in the sixth house is now through the sixth house of work, disciplining you through going through scenarios of what it's like to work in medicine. And Gemini is teaching you through this direct experience how to discipline elements of your lifestyle and what techniques you have to master in order to establish the ability to teach about this. The sixth house, ninth house bridge is taking a behavior and turning it into a philosophy, practicing what you preach, and learning something enough to where you can teach people about how you do what you do. And this is amazing for those of you who are teaching courses, for those of you who want to go back to school, who may be leveling up your ability to now become more of an authority. As once we come into the end of the decade, you will be an authority, whether as an indirect or direct teacher. By the time we come into the beginning of the next decade, Saturn's in Cancer with Uranus, and this is innovating the the power of your legacy. This is groundbreaking new innovations and inventions. So what this means relative to the relationships you're unlocking with Mars in your seventh is going to show you not only how you can now create a true clarity of where to take them, but it's also going to adjust your perception relative to who truly sees what you know to be true. Because once again, Pluto trining the sun over the rest of this week or the month, and then Jupiter when it goes into the ninth is taking your creativity, that's awakening supernatural quality in your talents. What does this mean? You're the artist, right? So, like, you've always been, whether you're Libra rising sun and moon, you've always had the ability to pick up any instrument or perform and to really just kill that shit, right? This is Libra is the activist, it's the artist, it's the social personality, spirit, or soul, the art, and I think it's a form of a celestial power. But with that being said, um Aquarius in the fifth represents extraordinary talents that, let's say, the last 12 years, you learned how to master a craft. especially since 2016, but let's say since 2010, you've learned how to master a craft. Let's say it's playing guitar, right? And 2021 to 2023 was very intense for you because you mastered the discipline of how to play guitar. Like after Saturn left Aquarius, you learned everything there is to learn about playing guitar to where you can control. You've completely mastered that, right? And you did that in a period from 2008 to 2023 where Pluto going through your fourth really hurt you as far as like, yeah, I have this talent, but who personally could I trust? It was crumbling your own comfort zones. So it's like, yeah, you're playing this guitar, but over the most extremely intense situations that broke and shook you to your core. And you're done with that. Okay. Now that Pluto is in your fifth, it's almost as if now you're playing the guitar. And when you play the guitar, there's a supernatural effect from you playing the guitar. It's like you're not just playing the guitar, you played the guitar, and the person who you played that guitar to got healed of cancer. I'm saying that because, as insane as that sounds to you, is going to be a quality of this effect. This is what you're going to start to experience. And now Saturn in Pisces is disciplining a lifestyle around this enhancement of your talent. And now, of course, what you believe you should do with all this, because all this is going to segue into Cancer. And that's what's going to push forward your legacy starting next month. And then again next year. That's going to be the big one. So yeah, y'all. Libra, this with the South Node is having you really hold space. You're the axis psychologically of evil, because what makes someone evil is their inability to integrate their individuality with other people. And so once the integration of that is unbalanced, it now creates an evil psyche. That's the need for Libra. That's why it's one of the most important signs. The integration of Virgo performs through Libra, and Libra must be balanced in order for that individual to be fair and just. If not, now you're a corrupt cop and you're fucking up the balance of the flow of society. Anyway, that's why Libra is the hero. All right, so we're gonna step into your ruling planet Venus going into the ninth house is really just helping you put your voice out there in a way that's going to be a light and teach people a lot. So Aquarius, you secret Viltrumites, this is going to really expand over the next year the vocabulary around the fucking fact that you're an alien. And listen, I know you fooled everybody else. I see you. You cannot fool me. See, Libra thinks they're slick. You can't hide, Aquarius. You're too weird. Like crazy shit be happening around you that makes it impossible to hide the fact that you're not from here and that you know way too much. All right. So yeah, this is definitely you coming out and recognizing towards everybody that you've been holding back and you're not holding back anymore. I think it was too soon for you to really go in as you were kind of integrating how to take this celestial advanced quality in a world that is so condensed that a greater part of everything you are just remains over people's heads. Well, thankfully, Gemini season is going to continue the integration that began last month. As Taurus landed your spaceship. And so now you're coming out the spaceship, and like Venus and Jupiter are coming through. Your ruling planet Uranus was literally you landing that spaceship. And now Zeus and Aphrodite are coming through, and you're getting ready to communicate. Gemini communication. You're getting ready to communicate very creatively, might I add, to the people on this planet that you're here to help them take it over. And you know you're planning this invasion, and you're going to make the planet so much better, and you know there's really nothing that they can do, but it's all good because you come in peace, so I'm sure it's not going to be a problem. And I mean, I don't think they really want smoke with you either. You have Hades in your sign that's really just awakening this celestial intensity, and we really need to talk about this, Aquarius, because a huge important facet of this revolution comes in three stages. Pluto is going into Aquarius over the next 20 years, which will be responsible for the awakening of humanity. Neptune and Saturn are going to go into Aries, which is going to shine the individual light of how we have to fight for our individual rights, not to be limited. And that's what's going to stoke the fire of the youth now that humanity is awakening. That's going to lead into Uranus, into Gemini post 2026. That's going to now produce the effect of everybody speaking about shit and innovating and revolutionizing. And of course, the Aquarius facet of this is the most important, because this is what's going to awaken humanity to the entire world of the universe and the metaphysical, all beyond just this dimension, where things that used to be theories are now put into words, and we're able to, of course, understand the supernatural nature of our potential. Aquarius, just like Capricorn had done before, you're taking this to that celestial level. And especially for those of you who are born like January 20th, 21st, 23rd, or you have your moon 0 to 3 degrees Aquarius, you have definitely been tapping into this. And you know what I mean? It puts you in a position to take 12 to 30 years worth of building a base. Aquarius, I want you to comment in 11 if this kind of makes sense to you. It's almost like 30 years ago, you were like a fresh off the boat alien from another dimension who didn't realize how foreign you looked to other people. And 30 years gave you experience in this human form in order to really understand the lingo, do a lot of sociology, and really kind of understand how to take the knowledge. It's not that you never knew, that was your problem. You knew, and you were realizing how nobody else knows. And so now you, through this experience, this is giving you the opportunity to now truly express what really needs to be said, but not like 30 years ago where you were an alien. Like, why is it that you humans swap spit, and what do you kind of like say that you're in love with each other, and then get in your feelings and do all this crazy stupid things? Now 30 years later, you've learned through socializing, oh, they call this love. Okay, they're producing chemical brains as insanity. Okay, the emotions still kind of feel yuck. You know, the one thing you've kept the same is y'all still don't give a fuck at all. But like, still, what's really cool here is this has enabled you to prepare for this next cycle. And with Saturn in your second house with Neptune, it's transcending the quality with which you can draw from the astral realm of imagination and materialize in front of your hands and fingers whatever it is you know and believe you can create within moments. Okay. And so the square to the fifth house is preparing you for your eighth house, where, like Libra, your ability to do this will adjust by September, where it's like, okay, I was thinking about a penny and I got one in my hands. It's there's no kind of like time dilation. This is going to be very instant. And now you're going to experience what's happening. Like, really think about it. Really think about it. Really think about it. Because you activated this in March. Okay. And from March until now, the seeds you planted were roots growing through the ground underneath your consciousness. Over the next 30 days, this is going to sprout through the ground. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? Virgo answers how. Sag answers what it means. Pisces answers why. Gemini answers what. This Gemini season, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Okay. If you realized that anything that you imagine, you can literally just manifest instantly, right? wouldn't you have a montage scene where now it opens up the door of, wait, if I can do this, what more could I do? It's like now I get to re-explore my through my inner child. I would do this, I would do that. That is exactly this Gemini season for you. And over the rest of the year, it's going to expand the nature of this new precedent. I'm using that as an analogy. This also represents the belief around your self esteem and how truly you express the confidence through your communication of your talents. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is really, for the first time, a direct expression over the next 3 months of how you will begin to integrate this supernatural quality of, at this point, divine manifestation and true expression. And now there's an attitude, there's a rawness and vulgarity to the way that, or an original nature of how you communicate this, that everyone is going to copy. Oh my God, everyone is going to copy your style and pretend that they didn't really take your wave. And like, honestly, who cares? I'm beginning to think that's kind of what you're here for. But like, yeah, it's going to be really dope. And with all this Taurus energy that has now established a new level of comfort, because that's the big lesson with you, Aqua, especially you Aqua risings. 30 years ago or 12 years ago, there was a level of comfort you didn't have, because it's literally like you were on a foreign land, and now you have established so much comfort in your own skin that allows you to really embrace all the eccentricities. Not like you cared, but like it enables you to just really step into it. All right. And I mean that positively, because like, why care? Anyway, this is gonna be fun as fuck for you, especially with Venus going through here. This is gonna be so goddamn fun, because I feel like for the first time in a long time, it's just giving you so much for you to really express, especially when maybe it could have felt like you're saying too much, and now people's brains are able to wrap around what more you can say and how you say it. Okay. So congratulations. Yeah, I would hope you'd be excited. The trine from the first house to the fifth house is going to take this extreme rebirth of yourself you're beginning to have, and it's going to begin to cast how creative you can get with it, expand how much more talented that Jupiter Pluto trine. Epic. And it's just barely the beginning. Okay, so I'm gonna hop into the next live. Carrie, thank you very much. We see that as a Cancer rising, you are getting ready to end this cycle. Okay, especially for all you Cancer risings, this is going to really test the anxiety and potential to overthink, because you're having to completely cumulatively take the conclusion of cycles you've started since 2003 and 2014, specifically with Jupiter, and you're concluding it. You're transcending old beliefs in order to know that the power you've developed can have you at this stage literally create the existence you want to experience, especially with Neptune and Saturn in your ninth house. So this is testing with the ninth to 12th house. Do you have unconscious thoughts? Literally, the ninth house in Pisces is telling you since March, look, if you believe that this is going to be your life, this is going to be your life. If you believe that this is the success you want to have, this is the success you're going to have. Right. So now the Gemini transit for you is testing, do you have unconscious thoughts and beliefs that clash with what you believe? Because if you say, I believe I'm successful, but through this Gemini season, you're allowing anxiety in the 12th house of unconsciousness to come through, then you have to change the way you think in order to align that. Doing that is changing everything. And the full moon is going to now bring light to your behavior and what you feel like you need to see in order to just surrender the fact that not only are you connecting with this, but all Cancer risings, the 12th house Gemini is now expanding your angelic support. And this is everything with the North Node in 2020 that this established, where Cancers as high priestesses and priests were completely revolutionizing the way that they can call on angelic support. I'm talking about, hey, synchronicities from angels. Hey, can you help me with this? Within seconds, they help you with that. So like, and you even know which one. So this is going to now bring in a new precedent towards the faith you have, towards this aspect of your mind too. Religions and faiths have had their way of putting words to this, but this is going to open up a year of you surrendering and releasing as you transition and step into the next level of yourself. While the North Node in Aries with your sun in Aries, Carrie, is very powerfully still pronouncing the success you've been destined to come into. And I love that with the South Node in the 4th house, that looks like you purchasing a new home. That's so gangster. So this Gemini season is literally the transition mutably between you before you moved into that house, and then now at the end of Gemini season, you're furnished in the house, and now Cancer season of the home, you're identifying as a new homeowner. That is how precise and accurate astrology is. And it's not a joke, because now where is that Cancer season going to be in? It's going to be 4th house of home to your Aries sun. So you're literally identifying with this transit of moving through the 3rd. It's so beautiful. And this is definitely going to show you how you're upgrading your thoughts of everything you believe you should feel about yourself. So I hope you enjoy that. You stay blessed as always, guys. I'm going to hop into the full moon ceremony. And until next time, peace.